Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Saturday, so this is the starts and sits video for week 2. So this is going to be me going through every team, the 30 remaining teams that have not played yet, going through pretty much all the relevant players. Some of these players may be even irrelevant just depending on the type of league that you're in, giving start-sit advice in general. But with that being said, if you have any other start-sit questions, please let me know and I will definitely be sure to answer them. So you can just leave those down in the comments. Should I start player A? Should I start player B? Pick 1 out of 3, pick 2 out of 3. Just be sure to give the scoring format as well. But we're going to start off with the Houston Texans. This is my favorite team. Since I do pull these games from ESPN, they always pop up first. So I try to do the early games first, then the afternoon games, then the Sunday and the Monday Night Football games. But for the Texans, I think it's pretty simple this week. Tyrod Taylor, you're going to sit. I don't think you need to play him unless you're in a 2-quarterback league. Then he's an option. Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, we didn't really see too much of them week 1, so I'm comfortable sitting them at this point in time. Mark Ingram is not somebody I'm excited to play at all, even though he got 26 carries in week 1. However, if you need like a flex play, a filler running back, he could be that guy, but I'm not going out of my way to start him in any league. Brandon Cooks, you can start. Should probably feel pretty comfortable about that. We'll go against Denzel Ward part of the day, so that could impact a little bit of his production. But as of right now, he is the primary target for Tyrod Taylor and this Texans team. Then Nico Collins, we saw 55% of snaps out of him. He's going to be a sit until we see a little bit more production out of him. Farrell Brown, the tight end, you could start in a pinch if you need to. Jordan Akins did literally nothing week 1, so he's still a sit. Texans defense is going to be a sit going against a pretty good Browns running attack. They're not the worst DFS play in the world, too, because the Browns line is a little bit banged up. And then when it comes to kickers, I'm not really going to note too much unless there's a change, or if a guy was like a sit last week and they're a start this week, or if they were a start last week and they're a sit this week. But Joey Slye did have a nice little week 1, and he's the kicker again for the Texans. Then on the Browns side, we got Baker Mayfield. He's going to be a sit for me unless you're in a 2-quarterback league. Just not like super excited about him. Probably not going to have to throw the ball a ton. Nick Chubb's a start. Kareem Hunt, I believe, is a start as well. Probably a low-end RB2 flex play. Especially if this game gets out of hand, he's going to have some work later on in the game. Jarvis Landry, you can start him up. Not the best matchup. He's more like a wide receiver 3 for me this week. People act like it's a good matchup because of the Texans defense, but who's probably going to go against Desmond King most of the day, who is the best corner for the Texans. Anthony Schwartz had a little bit of value week 1, more so for like DFS, but he's not even, I'm starting this week. He might not even end up playing. I believe he's still got the questionable tag. So he's a sit. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a sit. Austin Hooper, I think you could start in this matchup. I got him as a top 12 tight end this week. David Njoku had a nice week 1. If you need a streaming tight end, maybe he's a guy that you look at. Browns defense, you can start. Obviously, the Texans did look better than we thought last week, but Browns defense still should be pretty good. And then McLaughlin looks to be healthy at kicker for them. Then we move over to the Bengals. Joe Burrow, I think you could start him. You can make a case to start him as like a streaming quarterback this week against the Bears defense, who don't have the greatest defensive backs in the world. Then Joe Mixon's going to be a start. T. Higgins is, I think you can start all 3 of these wide receivers, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. It's a great matchup, and I'm not hesitating at all. CJ Uzoma could be a streaming tight end if you really need one, but otherwise I'm not starting him. Bengals defense is a sit. Then Evan McPherson, the rookie kicker, he actually looked pretty good week 1, so he's probably going to be a safe play at kicker moving forward. Then for the Bears, we got Andy Dalton. He's going to be a sit. It is a favorable matchup. If you watched my episode yesterday with the dollar store stacks, he is a guy that you could play in DFS for cheap. David Montgomery, he's going to be a start. I think it's going to be a very good day for him overall. Allen Robinson is going to be a start. Darnell Mooney, he's probably going to be a sit unless you really need a wide receiver or a flex play. Cole Kmet, you can start. I think he's a decent streaming option at tight end this week. And then we got Jimmy Graham's going to be a sit. The Bears defense, I am going to sit them because I don't trust this Bears defense at this point in time. Then we got the Rams. So Matthew Stafford's going to be a start. Darrell Henderson actually got pretty much all the work week 1, so I'm going to start him once again. Sony Michel's going to be a sit. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, they're both going to be starts. Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, not really excited about starting either one of those two at this time, so they're going to be sits. Tyler Higbee, you could use as a streaming tight end this week, probably a low tight end 1. Rams defense, go ahead and start up. They are a very good defense once again and a pretty good matchup for them overall. Then on the Colts side, we got Carson Wentz. He's going to be a sit. This offensive line's banged up. I don't trust Carson Wentz in general, so until we really see it, he's not going to be a starting option for me, and I think there's a lot of good starting quarterback options this week, especially in one quarterback leagues. Jonathan Taylor, he's going to be a start. Just take it with a grain of salt with that offensive line banged up, and they could be in a negative game script once again, which would favor Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is probably a viable flex play this week, just depending on your type of league. If you're in a PPR league, if you need somebody to throw on the flex, he could be out there quite a bit again. 45% of snaps in week 1, so not going to expect that every week, but should still see some volume in week 2. Michael Pittman Jr., Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell. One of these guys is probably going to pay off, but I'm not excited about any of these 3 this week, so I'm just going to sit all 3 of them unless I really need to play someone. Colts tight ends still not exciting at all to me, so they're all sits. Colts defense against the Rams offense that should be pretty high-powered is going to be a sit. Then we move over to the Bills, who were kind of a disappointment week 1. So we got Josh Allen. You're going to start him up. Hopefully he bounces back. A slightly better matchup, I'll say that, than last week. Zach Moss was a healthy scratch week 1, so he's going to be a sit. Devin Singletary, even when Moss is out, Singletary hasn't really shown enough that I would warrant playing at this point in time. Maybe a viable flex play if you really, really need one, but that's about it. Stephon Diggs, you can start. Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis. I think Cole Beasley you could start in a pinch if you need a wide receiver 3, a flex play in a PPR type of league. You could definitely do that. Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis, not too excited about them. I believe Gabriel Davis is still questionable at this point in time. Dawson Knox is going to be a sit. Bills defense you could stream this week against the Miami Dolphins. I do not trust Tua. I don't trust some of these weapons that he does have around him at this point in time. Then on the opposite side of that game, we got the Miami Dolphins. We got Tua. He's going to be a sit. Myles Gaskin, I think you can play in this matchup. Running back 2 flex play should be pretty nice there. I do apologize. That still says Miles Sanders. I was going through last night. I was editing a bunch of this stuff, and that's the one thing I still missed. Then for Jalen Waddle, he's a guy that you could start as a wide receiver 3, flex play in like a PPR league if you need to. Will Fuller is out once again with a personal matter this week, so he should have a little bit of viability. Devontae Parker, if you're in a real pinch, you could throw out there, but not somebody I'm too excited about. Mike Gesicki looked terrible week 1, only played 39% of snaps and put up a big old goose egg, so not anybody I'm excited to start. Goes against Matt Milano, who has done pretty well against tight ends in the past as well. Dolphins defense, I'm not trusting them this week at all because that Bills offense is really looking for a bounce back, and I think the Dolphins defense is due for regression this year. Then we move over to the Jets. Zach Wilson's going to be a sit. I'm going to be sitting every single one of these Jets running backs. Just don't trust anybody at this point in time. Tevin Coleman looks like he got the most work. Ty Johnson got the most snaps. And maybe Michael Carter was the most effective, even though they were all not very effective in general. Corey Davis, I think you can start this week once again. Just keep in mind against this Patriots, it is a tough matchup. Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder, Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, Jeff Smith. Not excited about starting any of the rest of them. We saw Elijah Moore on the field a ton week 1 and pretty much came up with 0 production out of that 86% of snaps. So he's not a guy I'm excited about. Seems like they're going to play him on the outside. Coming into the year, coming into the draft process, I said he was a guy that cannot really play on the outside, so that is a major concern for me. Hopefully he moves into the slot row in 2022, and that's when his value is really going to, kind of skyrocket. Then at tight end, Tyler Kroft's not somebody I'm excited about starting this week. The Patriots have traditionally been pretty good against the tight end. Jets defense, not interested in this week. And then Matt Amendola, the rookie kicker, didn't get to see too much out of him week 1 at this point in time, so he's still going to be a sit. Then for the Patriots, we got Mac Jones. He could be a start, borderline streamer this week if you need to. 2-quarterback league, definitely would start him there. Damian Harris, I think you can start probably a running back 2 flex play. He came in at about running back, I want to say 27 for me on the week. Then James White, he's probably going to be a sit for me unless I'm in a PPR league and I really need somebody to fill in. Jacoby Myers, I think you can start this week, should be pretty well. Good matchup for him overall. Same thing with Nelson Aguilar. They're both kind of wide receiver 3s, flex plays if you need to. Kendrick Bourne, not interested in starting him at this time. Jonnu Smith is banged up, so we'll see if he plays or not. If he plays, you can start him. If he doesn't, you sit him. If he doesn't play, then you start Hunter Henry, and you're pretty happy about it. Patriots defense, you can play. Should be pretty good there. And then Nick Folk looks to be the kicker once again. Then we got the 49ers, and this is going to be kind of a messy one. Jimmy Garoppolo, you're probably going to sit. Elijah Mitchell, you can start, probably more like a low-end running back 2, flex play type of guy this week. Trey Sermon, probably going to sit until we see it out of him. He was a healthy scratch last week, so we'll just have to see how that shakes out in week 2. Brandon Ayuk, we saw a big old goose egg out of him in week 1. Sounds like he should play a little bit more in this game, but we're going to sit him until we see otherwise. Deebo Samuel, crazy week 1. You can start him if you need to at this point in time. I don't have a problem against that. Still just not the biggest Deebo Samuel guy myself. George Kittle, I think, is a smash spot this week, so he's going to be an obvious start. 49ers defense, don't really trust them against Jalen Hurts in this Philadelphia offense. Plus, they do not have very good corners at this point in time. They're very depleted in that area. Then on the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts, I think you can start. I got him as a top 10 quarterback once again. Miles Sanders, you can go ahead and start kind of as a running back 2 if you need to. He is dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury, so just monitor that. Kenny Gainwell is another guy a lot of people are actually talking about. I'm not comfortable starting him at this point in time. A lot of his production did come during blowout time in that last game. He did play, some on passing downs too, so he gives them a little bit of viability there, but not anybody that I'm comfortable rolling out in week 2. Devonta Smith, you can start him. I feel pretty confident with him against this depleted secondary for the 49ers. Then we got Jalen Reagor. Had a nice week 1. Don't really feel comfortable starting him week 2 unless I really have to, so he's going to be a sit for me. Zach Ertz popped up with a hamstring injury last week, so he's going to play. Just kind of temper your expectations for him overall. I'd give him a sit this week. Dallas Goedert, I'm probably going to sit as well. Just the 49ers have been pretty good against the tight end position the last few years. Eagles defense, I think, is going to be a sit once again. Then we move over to the Raiders. Derek Carr against the Pittsburgh defense. Not really excited about that, so he's going to be a sit. Kenyon Drake with Josh Jacobs out now. He can be a start. Like if you need a running back 2, if you need a flex play, that's kind of where I got him. So I got him about running back, I think 29, 30 on the week. Just ahead of James Conner, if that gives you a little bit better context. We did talk about this on the point after a little bit last night as well, so definitely go over and check that out too. Henry Ruggs, don't want to start him. I'm really just not excited about any of these 3 wide receivers. One of them is probably going to have a good game. Guessing which one is going to be kind of a hard thing to do, at least early on in the season. Then at tight end, obviously, you got Darren Waller. He's going to be a start. You're going to start him every week. Raiders defense, not excited about playing them, even though they did look a little bit better week 1. Then for the Steelers start sit, I think Ben Roethlisberger is a streamable quarterback this week. Goes against that Raiders defense. Even though they looked a little bit better in week 1, they're still not the greatest in the world, so we'll just have to see. You can definitely play him if you need to. 2-quarterback league, definitely feel comfortable rolling him out there. Najee Harris, we got, he's going to be a start once again. Played 100% of snaps week 1, so that's very, very promising. I think you can start all 3 of these wide receivers once again. I do like Juju Smith-Schuster going against Nate Hobbs in the slot. Eric Ebron was kind of banged up this week, so we're going to sit him. Pat Freiermuth, only 1 catch in week 1, so he's going to be a sit 2 as well, unless Ebron's out. And then the Steelers defense, I think you can start this week. They still are a very good defense. Then we got the Saints starts and sits. Kind of important to note, they will be without some of their assistant coaches this week. I believe it's 7 in total that are out due to COVID protocol, but no major names there. Jameis Winston going against the Carolina Panthers. You could start him. He's a streamable quarterback if you need to. Alvin Kamara's an obvious start at this point in time. Tony Jones Jr., not excited about him. He's going to be a sit. Marquez Callaway, these wide receivers, not excited about starting any of the wide receivers at this point in time. Jawan Johnson had a nice week 1. Only played 12 snaps in total. It's unlikely he repeats that once again, so I don't feel comfortable starting him. He's going to be a sit. Adam Troutman, I think you could make a case to start if you need a streaming tight end this week. He had 6 targets week 1. If he gets a little bit more targets, if he gets more receptions in general, he's going to be in play this week. Saints defense, I do feel comfortable starting once again. The Panthers, not too excited about them overall, especially on offense with Sam Darnold at the helm. Then, speaking of Sam Darnold, he's going to be a sit this week. Christian McCaffrey, he's going to be a start every single week. DJ Moore, I think you can start. Robbie Anderson is going to be a sit for me. 3 targets week 1, got bailed out by a long touchdown. Otherwise, he puts up pretty much a goose egg. Terrace Marshall Jr. had 6 targets week 1, but not super excited about him, so he's going to be a sit as well. Panthers tight end is a sit. Panthers defense, maybe you could play in DFS, but I'm not too excited for them in redraft, so they're going to be a sit as well. It looks like Zane Gonzalez is going to take over as the kicker, so he's going to be a sit until we kind of see more from this Panthers team as a whole. Then for the Denver Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater, he's there. He's kind of like quarterback range like 16, 17 for me this week. If you're in a 2-quarterback league, you can start him. If you're in a 1-quarterback league, I would not recommend starting him at this point in time. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, they both have viability as a running back 2 flex play type of guy this week, so you can start both of them if you need to. Cortland Sutton coming off a rough week 1. I believe he only had 1 reception for, 14 yards. Jerry Jeudy's gone now. Goes against a favorable matchup in Jacksonville, so you should feel pretty comfortable starting him this week. Tim Patrick's a stream-worthy guy if you need to start him, wide receiver 3, flex play if you need to. KJ Hamler, I want to sit until we see him get more snaps in general. Noah Fant, you can roll out this week. And then the Broncos defense, probably one of the better defensive plays of the week. Then on the Jaguars side, honestly, I am not excited about starting anybody on the Jaguars side until we see a little bit more from this offense, this team in general. So Trevor Lawrence is going to be a sit. James Robinson, if you need to throw him in there, you can, but we saw what happened last week. Same thing with Carlos Hyde. DJ Chark, probably not too excited about. Marvin Jones, maybe. But Denver does have very good cornerbacks. They have to throw the ball to somebody, but I'm not excited about starting anybody on this Jaguars team at this point in time. Jaguars tight ends, I'll just throw the name out there too. James O'Shaughnessy, he had a bunch of targets week 1. He's still a sit for me. I know a lot of people are hyping him up in DFS, but there is a chance that Jacob Hollister plays this week and then he just loses snaps to him too. So I'm not really excited about starting any Jaguars tight ends in general. Then we got the Vikings. First off, Kirk Cousins. I believe he is a streamable quarterback this week. Goes against the Arizona defense that looked pretty good week 1, but their cornerback unit overall is not the best. Dalvin Cook's going to be a start. Justin Jefferson's a start. Adam Thielen's a start. That's pretty easy. Just throw those ones out of the way for now. KJ Osborne coming off a nice week 1. Probably not somebody you need to start at this point in time. I'd like to see it in back-to-back weeks before I feel comfortable starting him. Then Tyler Conklin, Chris Herndon, not comfortable in either one of these tight ends at this point in time. They're both going to be sits. Vikings defense is also a sit against a pretty good Arizona Cardinals offense. Then for the Arizona Cardinals, we got Kyler Murray. He's going to be a start. Pretty obvious there. Chase Edmonds, I think, is a viable starter, running back 2 or flex play in PPR leagues. James Conner is probably going to be a sit for me this week. Had 16 carries week 1, but that was a little bit of a blowout as well. So we'll see what his workload looks like in a regular game script. DeAndre Hopkins obviously had a great week 1. He's a good guy that you're going to be rolling out there every single week regardless. AJ Green played a lot of snaps but didn't really do much, so he's going to be a sit. Rondale Moore and Christian Kirk both didn't play a lot, but both were pretty effective. Christian Kirk, you could start as kind of that wide receiver 3 flex play if you need to. Rondale Moore, we're going to sit on until he gets a little bit more playing time. Cardinals tight ends, Max Williams did play 80% of snaps week 1. Do not expect that to happen. Once again, not interested in the Cardinals tight ends in general. You could make a case for streaming the Cardinals defense against the poor offensive line or the offensive line that played poorly week 1 for the Minnesota Vikings. There is a case to be made there. Probably a little bit better pick in DFS overall though. Then we move over to the Atlanta Falcons. Not excited about many guys on this Falcons team in general. Matt Ryan's going to be a sit. Mike Davis is a sit going against a very, very good Tampa Bay run defense. Wayne Gallman's going to be a sit until we see more from him. Calvin Ridley, you can start and feel all right with him. Russell Gage, he put up a goose egg week 1, so not comfortable starting him at all. Kyle Pitts, you can make a case to start him. If you drafted him where you drafted him, you're probably going to have to start him. So Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, probably the only 2 guys that I'm starting on this Falcons team. Maybe Young Hoku, the kicker, but that's about it this week. Then on the opposite side of the game, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's the smash start. Ronald Jones supposedly is the starter for this matchup. You can play him as a low-end running back 2, a flex play if you need to. Same thing with Leonard Fournette. We don't know what to trust with Bruce Arians at this point in time. Mike Evans had a down week 1. I think you can start him. I think you can start all 3 of these wide receivers. Probably at least 2 of them are going to pay off. One guy might kind of bust this week, but we'll just have to see who it is. Rob Gronkowski, you make a case to start him this week. I think he's a low-end tight end 1. Tampa Bay defense, I have a lot of faith in them this week, even though they are without Sean Murphy, Bunting, and Carlton Davis is a little bit banged up. And then we move over to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's going to be a start. Ezekiel Elliott, I know everybody's freaking out about week 1. Still played 83% of snaps. Was in pass protection quite a bit of the time. It was more of a game plan thing against Tampa Bay where they were going to throw a bunch of quick, short passes, and that's how they were going to attack them because Tampa Bay has that good run defense. Please do not freak out about Ezekiel Elliott. At this point in time, he's a start once again. Tony Pollard, he's going to be a sit unless we see more out of him going forward. Then Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, they're both starts pretty easily without Michael Gallup in there. Cedric Wilson, probably more of a DFS play. Some of you don't really want to start right away in a redraft league or anything like that. Dalton Schultz, I think you can make a case for him to be a streamable tight end this week if you need to. Blake Jarwin, he's going to be a sit. Just want to see a little bit more out of him coming back from the injury. Cowboys defense, we already know, is not very good, so they're going to be a sit as well. Then for the Chargers side, we got Justin Herbert. He's going to be a start. Very good matchup for him overall. Austin Eckler's a start. Not really interested in the other Chargers running backs at this point in time. Looks like Larry Roundtree is going to be the main backup, though. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, I think you can start both these guys this week. Jalen Guyton, you could start in a pinch if you really need to, but I'm not recommending it. Josh Palmer, he's going to be a sit at this point in time. Jared Cook, I've seen a lot of people say is a streamable tight end this weekend. Maybe, but I just don't see very much out of him in general for the season and this week. So he's going to be a sit for me personally. Chargers defense is going to be a sit going against a pretty good Cowboys offense. Then we move over to the Titans, and they got Ryan Tannehill. I think he's a start against the Seahawks. You can play him. Hopefully he bounces back this week. Hopefully he gets a little bit of protection. Same thing with Derrick Henry. He is a start. A.J. Brown's a start. Julio Jones I do like. He was kind of my gold for this week on the Gold Jacket podcast. So he's going to be another start. Chester Rogers or Josh Reynolds, whoever plays the slot, could be a little bit interesting play at this point in time. We don't know if Reynolds will be back or not. So it's a little bit murky there. They're probably better DFS plays than anything at this point in time. Anthony Firkser is a sit for me. This guy is a must sell for me if I'm in Dynasty. He really didn't do anything in a game script that really favored him week 1. So I'm very, very concerned with Anthony Firkser. If you could trade him in Dynasty for like a 3rd round pick, I would definitely do it like right now. Titans defense not very good, so they're going to be a sit. And now it appears Randy Bullock is going to be their kicker this week. If there's anything I know, being a Texans fan about Randy Bullock, he does not get me excited. So he's going to be a sit. Then for the Seahawks, we got Russell Wilson. He's going to be a start. Chris Cousins is a start. Also important to note that Rashad Penny is injured. I believe he got placed on injury reserve. I could be wrong, though. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they're both starts. Freddie Swain's probably going to be the wide receiver 3. Dwayne Eskridge is dealing with a concussion. Then for the tight ends, we got Gerald Everett and Will Disley. They actually play a lot of 2 tight end sets in week 1. Gerald Everett played 72% of snaps. Will Disley played 70% of snaps. Gerald Everett just had 2 targets, 2 catches, and a touchdown. The touchdown really bailed him out. I know a lot of people were hyping him up in the offseason. Not excited about Gerald Everett this week. He was actually one of my Foils Gold tight ends for this week. Will Disley played almost as much as him and actually ran more routes, but they're both going to be sets for me at this point in time. Seahawks defense, you could make a case to stream just because of how bad the Titans offensive line looked in week 1, but Seahawks defense still isn't that great, so it's kind of up to you if you want to stream them or not. Maybe a better DFS play than anything. Then we get moved over to the Sunday Night Football game. We got the Chiefs. So the same 4 guys that I mentioned last week, Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You're pretty much just starting those 4 guys every single week. But Cole Hardman, you could make a case as a streaming wide receiver 3 flex play this week if you want to. He goes against Tevin Young, who essentially got benched against the Raiders because he played so bad, and they just don't have much cornerback depth in general. I don't think they have anybody that can keep up with the speed of Mecole Hardman, so that's another thing, especially if they're trying to take away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, they're both going to be sits. Chiefs defense, they could have a nice game. They might be stream-worthy, but it's not anybody I'm too excited about at this point in time. Then on the opposite side of the game, we got the Ravens. We got Lamar Jackson. He's going to be a start for me. Just kind of maybe tamper your expectations just a little bit. It could be a tough matchup for him once again. Traditionally hasn't played the best against the Chiefs, and he's never beat them. So Tyson Williams, I think you can start just kind of like a running back 2 flex play if you need to. Latavius Murray's still there as well. They get Devonta Freeman this week. They're both going to be sits at this point in time. Marquise Brown, if he plays, you can start him, but it's not anybody I'm going out of my way to start, but there's still a chance he could miss with an ankle injury. Sammy Watkins, I know it's a revenge game, but I don't trust Sammy Watkins, so it's going to be a sit. Mark Andrews, pretty poor week 1, but if some of these other pass catchers are out, they've got to throw him the ball, so he's going to be a start once again. Ravens defense is a sit. Then we get to the Monday Night Football game, and we got the Detroit Lions. So we got Jared Goff. He's going to be a sit. I'm going to go through this Lions team really quick. Jamal Williams is a viable flex play if you need to. He's dealing with a chest injury, but he should play. DeAndre Swift dealing with a little bit of a groin injury, or so they say. He's fine, honestly. Just feel free starting DeAndre Swift every week. unless he's actually ruled out. As long as he's limited in practice, as long as it's just this groin thing, he's going to be out there playing on the field. Played 63 snaps week 1. So then we got Tyrell Williams dealing with a concussion, so he's going to be a sit. These other wide receivers for them, Aron St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, Trinity Benson, Quintez Cephas. Not excited about any of those 4 guys, so they're all going to be sits. TJ Hawkinson's going to be a start. I think it's going to be a pretty good week for him as well. Lions defense is going to be a sit. And then Seibert, the kicker, still don't trust him at all. So pretty quick rundown on the Lions. Pretty much the only guys feel comfortable starting is DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. And then Jamal Williams could be a viable flex play if you need to. Then we got the Green Bay Packers. They look pretty bad week 1. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty bad week 1. But I'm going to say right off the bat, start the same 3 Packers guys that you're going to start every week. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. A.J. Dillon's a guy you could throw in a pinch for like a flex play or a running back spot if you want like 0 RB. I think he could get some run at the end of the game, run the ball out, but not anybody I'm going out of my way to grab. Maybe a little bit better play in DFS. Randall Cobb, if he gets more snaps, he could be viable, but still probably another better play in DFS. Not excited about him, Alan Lazard, or MVS. They're all going to be sits for me. Robert Tonyan, I know everybody kind of loves him, but I'm not excited for him in this matchup. Unless he scores a touchdown, he's probably not going to be worth it, so he's a sit for me as well. Packers could be a streaming defense, but their defense did not look very good week 1, so that's essentially up to you if you want to play that game or not. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown. Start sits pretty much for the 30 remaining teams. I tried to keep this video a little bit shorter. I know last week it ended up being about 40 minutes, so hopefully this one's a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker rundown for you guys. Try not to talk too much. I try to get some quick little details in there if I can. Once again, if you have any other start sit questions, leave them down in the comments below. Should I start player A, player B, 2 out of these 3 guys, 3 out of these 4 guys? Just leave the context in terms of scoring format as well, PPR, half PPR, or standard format. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, and that's one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your fantasy football, helping you with DFS, whether it's NFL or NBA, talking all the NFL news, talking some 2022 NFL draft prospects as we get closer to the 2022 NFL draft. I actually just started watching some of the film on the wide receivers last night, so I'm super excited about that. Super excited to share my knowledge, my findings with you guys when that time comes as well. And with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up 6 videos a week. Monday is the top performers. Tuesday is waiver wire day. Wednesday is the starts and sits for the Thursday Night Football matchup. Thursday is the going over the single game slate for both DraftKings and FanDuel for the Thursday Night Football matchup. Then Friday, I have the Dollar Store Stack Series, which is a DFS segment where I go over cheap stacks with quarterbacks, wide receivers, or tight ends that you can build for cheap. Opens up value elsewhere. And then obviously today, Saturday, is the starts and sits for the 30 remaining teams for the week. And that's the trend that I follow every single week. You can also check me out on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time on the Point After podcast. Definitely check that out. Definitely would recommend that on the TNF network. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.